Hi guys, once again, this is the SCRABBLEMAN. We're going to annotate an intermediate level game between two players by the names of Bonias and Trebula. They're players on ISC, Internet Scrabble Club. I don't know who they are, but I thought this game was interesting, so I'm going to discuss it. Let's get into it straight away. Alright, the first move, this is what Bonias has, these letters here. Now I can see what Bonias is trying to do. He or she wants to set up for themselves the X. That's a very poor setup in my opinion, because you're leaving your opponent with no doubts in their mind as to what you want to do. Okay, you're bound to have your opponent, when you play like that the first turn, your opponent is bound to think, all right, they have one of the Z, either one of the Z, the J, or the X. All right, and they're going to try their level best to block you from making use of those double letter squares that are next to that O. All right, so let's see what her opponent Trebula does. All right, so Trebula has these letters. Okay, one comment that I would like to make is that this person has two R's. Okay, so definitely they have to get rid of one of those R's for rack balance sake. In terms of the vowels and consonants, not too bad. Two consonants and five vowels. Sorry, 2 vowels and 5 consonants. And so their priority is obviously to try and block their opponent from maximizing on that O. All right. So, but they chose to play hid. They were completely oblivious to the fact that her opponent may want to use that O, the double letter squares next to those O's, next to that O, to maximize their score by placing a very high scoring consonant. Obviously, she has the X, so she should have been aware of that and taken that, place the letter next to the O, something like Lord. She also has 2 R's, so one of the R's ought to have been played. So Lord might have been a good option, all right? Something like Lord, okay? Or even better, let's see what the best moves are. Okay, these are the moves suggested by the computer. Now you don't want to play Lord this way, because that's still, if the opponent has an X, they can still make use of the X on the triple letter square. All right, so these are some options. They could have played Droil this way. That way they eliminate all possible opportunities for the high scorers to be maximized. Yeah, so, but I would have played Lord. Okay, I would have played Lord this way. I would have just said to myself, okay, if you have the X, you have the X, but I've taken out of the equation the possibility of a J or a Z to be maximized next to that O. All right, so there's only locks that they could have played to maximize the score. Also, I look at my problem as well. The problem that Trebula has is that they have 2 R's, so they want to get rid of one of those R's. Okay, so Lord may have been better. Okay, instead they chose to play hid. All right, now it's a very interesting rack this person has. So this person eventually ended up playing Tix, the right thing to do based on the person's setup previous turn, but in fact they had a bonus amounting to hundreds of points. 126 points of beatbox. So there we go. I don't know whether I would have spotted that myself, being an expert player, but Tix is good enough. That's what they want to do. They wanted to set up that X for that OX, the double letter square, to work twice in their favor. So 32 points just for placing that X, and then obviously they'll play the T as well. Let's see what Trebula does. Now Trebula's problems have compounded with the R's. Now they have 3 R's. Definitely at least 1 or 2 of those R's have to be offloaded, and the consonant vowel ratio has to be also maintained. Now they chose to play Lorna, but they still hang on to 2 R's. Maybe Lorna might have been better, because they offload 2 R's, and that's a more respectable leave than hanging on to 2 R's. If you play Lorna, you hang on to 1 R. So that's an oversight on their part, I would say. Okay. And now they chose, after Trebula played Lorna, Bonias has these letters. Now straight away, now this is oftentimes overlooked, even with intermediate players, the triple letters, the triple word squares that are available for you, that you can reach out through the middle of the board. All right, so by hooking on to an E to the R, you can reach up to the triple word square that is in the middle on the right hand side. All right, so by saying something like ebbed, so always be on the lookout for triple word squares that are accessible through the middle. All right, because people tend to always focus on the triple word squares that are on the edges of the board, on the four corners, but then these are also possible. All right, so she ought to have played ebbed. That's a move there. Now the computer is actually going to suggest some more complicated moves. Yeah, if you're good enough to spot these words, yeah, well done to you. But something like ebbed at an intermediate level, it's a very easy word. Ebbed should have been spotted by her. All right, and now this Trebula, she has these letters. It's a very bad rack. No vowels, plus they have the Q. Now the S is a power tile. The S ought to be preserved. Okay, so I would suggest change 5 or 6 letters there. I may have hang on to R and the S and change the rest. or may have even changed 6 letters, okay, and definitely hang on to the S because the S is a power tile. But they instead chose this very interesting exchange that they made. They instead chose to throw away the R, R, and the W. Not a good choice there. The Q is a power tile, but unless you have the U with the Q, it's not worthwhile holding on to. So they really ought to have changed 6 letters instead of the 3, which was also R, R, W. Poor choice there. All right, so then Bonais chooses to play this with these letters. Nothing much to say there. Again, there are some very fancy words. A 9-letter word, acerbated. Everyone knows about exacerbated, but you have acerbated as well. So that's 102 points. Okay, if you're good enough, you can spot those words. Hint, hint. Someone like Nigel Richards, the world's best Scrabble player. All right. Okay, so they chose to play ace. Nothing much to say there with that particular move. And then Trebula, well, she got bailed out. She picked up the right letters to maximize the score with the Q. She chose to play cuts there, but she really ought to have played cuts here, which is a double letter word and double word square combo. All right, so you got those available all around the board. Okay, it's play the Q on the double letter square, and then the S falls in the double word square, so the whole word get doubles after the Q is doubled as well for the letter. So that scores in excess of 50 points. Let's see how much cuts goes. QATS. Yeah, that's 50 points for cuts. All right, so that's a very bad miss. Even at an intermediate level, I even suggest this to juniors and novices, beginners and novices, that they ought not to miss these combos, double letter squares, double word square combos. So cuts definitely at row 12 should have been played. All right, let's look at Bonaz's letters. Now this is what Bonaz has. Now obviously I think she wants to work her way towards a bonus, so you want to throw away duplicated letters and high scoring consonants. There isn't a obvious scoring move here. I mean, to play BAPS here is not worth the sacrifice of that S. So let's generate the choices that they have. BAPS doesn't rank highly as well in terms of the best moves that the computer thinks, because you're throwing away the S for not many points extra. Something like PAT or PAD is a good choice. I think I would have played BAD instead of PATs, because P tends to combine better with bonuses than B, but it's a personal choice. There's not much to choose, but I think she played the best move there, more or less. Yeah, that's quite good. PAD is not too bad. Very good move actually. And now, yes, Trebula does in fact make use of the double letter square and double word square combo. The J unfortunately didn't fall on the double letter square, but nevertheless the H did. That scored a healthy 40 points. That probably is the best move according to the computer as well. Yep, that's right. She made the best move. That's very good. Okay, let's see whether Bonaz has gotten close to a bonus or not. Now she does have a bonus. It's not too difficult actually, this word battens. Okay, batten down the hatches. Okay, it's a word in English. So if she didn't spot the bonus, she ought to have played as many consonants as possible, because she has only one vowel. So bat is good, scored a healthy 35 points, but maybe another vowel, another consonant with that would have helped. Bant or another T, bat, probably may have been better. That's of course if she didn't spot the bonus. Battens is the best move there. Yeah. All right. Okay, now this is a very interesting rack that Trebula has. She has bonus friendly letters. There are no bonuses on this rack here. The letter she ought to offload is definitely the W and maybe the O. Add is a very good synergic bonus combination. So let's see the options she has to play OW. She can play OW there, or she can also play OW here. Okay, those two places. But playing OW here is more risky because she doesn't have the S. So why would you want to open up at a position where you can't make use of on the subsequent turns? So playing OW here is better. And what's more, the word she made there, over, takes a front hook of the letters that she has. She can place either her R or the D in front of over. So it works twofold. It scores well, gets rid of the awkward letters that are not bonus synergic. Also, it creates a hook for her in case she does have a bonus. So over ought to have been played there. Instead, what she chose to play was wide here. Okay. Now, this is what I can't emphasize enough. You need to hang on to bonus friendly letters if the scores are equal. Now, when you play wide, you don't. The difference between wide and over isn't much, but over allows you to hold on to bonus friendly letters than with wide. With wide, you hang on to this wide here, OAR. Not much bonus synergy there. But when you played O or over the better choice, you have more bonus friendly letters. All right. And this is a very poor move. They have a few bonuses there, but they didn't spot the bonus. But what's worse, they chose to play 10 using the blank. Now, as an intermediate player, this is not good. Okay, for that many points, even if you didn't spot the bonus, to play 10 for 22 points is not good. Okay, it's a very poor move. Okay, using the blank. I mean, if you want to use the blank except for a bonus, you really ought to score as an intermediate player 25 points or more than a move that didn't involve the blank. Okay, blank is that valuable as intermediate player. For junior players, I would say 20 points or 18 points extra, or maybe even 15 points is the cutoff point. But for intermediate players, definitely score 25 points more or extra, higher than that, for you to justify the usage of the blank. All right, so it's a very poor move, a very poor usage of the blank. All right. And here again, now it's Trebela's turn. Again, she eyed up that triple word square on the center of the board, where you reach up to that triple word square from the center. All right, again, don't overlook these triple word squares that you are able to access through the middle of the board. Okay, mirror is a very good move. Okay, there were better options there, but mirror is good. Now it's a poor move here again by Bonayes. So there are a few bonuses there, some very easy bonuses, senates and sensates, but she didn't spot any of those. She instead chose to play the T. I mean, if at all, she should have played the S, because she has two of those S's. Eaton's, or it's not a word, but EATENS is a better bonus-friendly rec than EASENS. All right, and yeah, so Trebela played a very good move here. Maybe she ought to have played Oak, because when you play Oak, you hang on to REN, then when you play Rock, you hang on to AEN. There is also a bonus, but I think the score is quite good for her to overlook the bonus and to play Oak. Okay, so little things that you think probably would make a big difference, but they do in fact make a big difference. REN plus a blank is a much more synergic bonus combination than AEN plus a blank. Okay, and it's also worthwhile overlooking the bonus, because you score well without having to use the blank, so you can save the blank for the bonus that you may form in subsequent turns. All right, so Oak should have been the move. Rock is not too bad, but definitely Oak is better. All right, and I'd like to point out again, don't worry about opening up the triple below JAK. I know her opponent seems to be on the trail of a bonus, but that's too many points to sacrifice. Yeah, so sometimes you have to think about your own benefit. You know, obviously opening up triple word square columns or rows is bad, but the score is quite good for her to justify the usage there of the letters ROK to open up the triple word square. All right, nothing much to say there. I think she played those letters for score and also to block that Jake opening. Here again, it's a poor usage. She played Faith. Her move actually was Faith, but it's a poor usage of the blank. Again, you should score 25 points or in excess of 25 points for you to justify the usage of the blank under normal circumstances. Okay, really, even if they should have played something like off for like 10 points. Okay, INE blank is a very good bonus synergy combination. Okay, best place to play off is in fact here. There are a couple of bonuses, but for intermediate player, it may be beyond them to spot these bonuses. Very uncommon word. Uniface may be a bit common. Okay, there are these words, but if not, you auto played off, because the blank for the score of 33 compared to the score of 22 for those 11 points is not justified for you to use the blank there. Okay, and now Bonayes has these letters. There is a bonus here, but it's a rather awkward word. It's KCOs, but yeah, I wouldn't expect a intermediate player to spot that. So she plays Ace, and then Fuse is the best move. In fact, very good move there, Fuse. And then yep, and then Bonayes has these letters. She could have done better, but pause is not too bad for intermediate players. Some of the other options, yeah, I don't think a intermediate player may be knowing those words, but pause is not too bad. Okay, now this is the interesting drag. Okay, now we are approaching the end of the game. Only about 30 letters yet to come from Trebela's perspective. They have a bonus, but unfortunately you can't fit it around the board anywhere. There is no opening. Loaming, Loaming, but unfortunately she doesn't have a place. So she doesn't want to create unnecessary openings for her opponent, because she's ahead by about 30 points, 28 points. So she wants to show if she plays her turn right now, she would be ahead by 50, which she did. She played roaming and she went ahead by 50, almost 50 points by playing roaming. Okay, but the problem with roaming is that roaming takes an S, and there are 3 S's unseen. So even as an intermediate player, you have to figure out what letters are still unseen. 3 S's unseen. You don't want to play roaming there, because roaming can be pluralized, and then your opponent is going to catch up by playing a bonus. Even without a bonus, they can score heavily because you don't have the S even for a setup. So don't do that. Don't play roaming. So something like mogul might have been the best move. It's not a difficult word. It's a rather common English word. So mogul may have been good. You know, you can't block because You can't block adequately because there are openings all around the board. She can play a bonus placing a letter above the N of in or below the D of aced, or even an 8-letter word through these E's, R's here of mirror, or even through the P. So too many openings to block, so you have to keep scoring steadily, but don't create easy openings for your opponent. That's what she did by playing roaming. So something like mogul may have been the best move. You may be tempted to work your way towards the bonus herself, but you're ahead, the game is tight, keep scoring steadily, and if the bonus comes to you, let it come to you, but don't open up unnecessarily because you are the one who's ahead. If you score another 20-30 points, which you did, you'll be ahead by 50, which is almost a bonus. Preserve that lead and keep steaming ahead. Don't complicate things, unless it's a very obvious bonus opportunity. I don't think it's a very obvious bonus opportunity with the letters that she has right now. So keep scoring steadily, play mogul for a few, I think 26 points or so, and then steam ahead. Now, obviously, what Bonaz needs to do is to keep scoring steadily, or even better, see if she could play a bonus. Now, unfortunately, these letters are not going to help her score bonuses. 2 Y's, 2 E's, 2 S's. But she could have scored more points by playing something like yes, and also leaving herself with better letters for a bonus. That was a bad miss, I would say. Yep, now, Trebala has, in fact, bad letters. These are very awkward letters, but there is a nice 3-letter word that involves 2 V's, so she was able to evap and get herself out of a sticky situation. I think even better would have been something like vulval, because you get rid of as many consonants as you need to, because she has too many awkward consonants. Vulval may have been better. Alright, but vav is not too bad. Okay, these are some very useful 3-letter words that help you get out of sticky situations. Yes, now this is a bad miss on Boniz's part because the opening is there for the taking. All right, you can play a high scoring constant on the double letter square and then reach up to the triple word square. The DLS TWS combo scores you a lot of points, but get the high scoring constant on that double letter square. She could have played something like Jens and scored heavily, but it's a bad miss. She only scored 31 points. If she had scored about 40 points, she would have been almost level on score with Trebala. Alright, again another poor move by Trebala here. She's still ahead, and this is the importance of knowing what letters are yet to come. Do your tile tracking on the side. Okay, you as an intermediate player should start doing this. Or if you're playing online, keep an eye out for the letters unseen. So 16 letters unseen. If you play Rousier or Rose, however you want to pronounce it, you can place a G in front of it. You can place a T in front of it. Okay. Now all these are opportunities for Bonayas to catch up. Even if it's not a bonus, you can score heavily by playing a word through that will reach up to the triple word square. So don't do things like these. These are careless moves that should have been avoided simply by observing what letters are yet to come on the tile tracking window, or if you're doing it manually on your tile tracking sheet. All right. All right. Okay, I think from that point onwards, I don't have much to say. I think Trebala coasted towards a victory. Nothing much else to say because that unfortunately Bonaz didn't pick up letters that could damage Trebala to make use of that Rose hook in front of Rose. She almost got a bonus, but unfortunately the letters didn't work out for her. Alright, so I hope that little annotated game helped you understand better, a few pointers for you to improve your game. Alright, so see you around soon in the Scrabbling world. For now, it's goodbye from the Scrabbleman. Take care. Bye-bye.